Yesterday's Niue's Legislative Assembly meeting discussed only 4 departmental reports before end of business day. The meeting that continued from last week before still has 7 reports to consider in the House before endorsement. Most of the discussions from the first 4 departments, Administrative Services, Justice Lands and Survey, Broadcasting Corporation and Education involved budget, personnel, operations and roles, functions of each department and the transformation and restructure proposal by government. Some of the concerns from members of parliament to relook at some of the posts within some departments, whether they are still viable, also the length of studies undertaken and the availability of personnel to host some of the jobs. Television Niue received some flack over the availability of programs and the much talked about talkback. The meeting concluded yesterday but set to continue next week with the rest of the reports. Cheques issuance will soon be a thing of the past for government as Treasury prepare to implement a new direct account system. The new initiative says government is to ensure the efficiency of transactions between government and customers. The public has also been advised to submit all banking details by next Monday, the 18th of February, to Treasury Department before payments are made. The date to begin the implementation of the new direct system will start on Wednesday, the 20th of February. The payments will be direct credited to payable accounts as long as the details are received by the Treasury Department. Treasury system is then able to automatically email the remittance advice with details of the payment to the customer. On another process to take note that once the payments are made to an account, whether it's to BSP or to another bank, it cannot reverse the payment. All public need to be aware of the process for a better transition. The Global Environment Fund has commissioned a local consultant to conduct a discussion workshop with NGOs and civil society this morning, focusing on a framework on the program targeting the small grant program. Mr. Crossley Tatui, who is the local consultant, said the concept of the SGP he is tasked with looks at water, climate change and biodiversity. He was tasked by the IWRM project. He said the areas covered by the program varies and the team wants to encourage different NGO groups to entertain the idea of creating projects to utilize the funds available from the program. The most difficult task is to establish a viable project for communities and groups to undertake. The $50,000 grants available if projects are successful is a huge amount, but applications need to identify the base foundation of the program. Some of the other concepts of the program look at land degradation, waste sanitation, conservation and much more. Niue High Court sitting this week saw 15 registered cases submit before the Justices of the Peace. Many of the cases, as of preceding years, relate to alcohol, and the session this week did not stray much from similar charges brought by the police. Cases of assault with restraining order application, failing to wear a helmet, drive without a license, and negligence and speed also saw charges for contempt of court. Most of the cases received by the courts yesterday were convicted and charged, with some referred to counselling and a couple adjourned. The Criminal Division of the Niue High Court convenes every month, with the main court sitting scheduled for March. Niue Women has now a representative to the United Nations Women's Civil Society Advisory Group. Mrs. Rupina Morrissey, who was recently elected from the Niue Council of Women to represent Niue at the PAC 4 meeting, was also selected last week in Fiji as part of the advisory group. Mrs. Morrissey said the main focus is to encourage the empowerment of women.
One of the focus points were CEDAW, which is the Violence Against Women program, and I know that Niue has participated in it. I was in the meeting that initiated that program. However, I understand that Niue hasn't completely committed, and so I need to find out, do some homework, why, and there could be various reasons, because usually the country focuses on what the advantages are for Niue to be part of CEDAW, for instance. Perhaps it's not relevant for us now, but I do think if we look ahead at our young women generation, it might be relevant for them, and it's worth our looking at it.
One development is the cooperation of all women from young to work together, and the women on the island are lucky in comparison to others.
My job is to inform our women here and to see what we can do together. I think the National Council of Women already has a body that we can work together with, and that's how I think we don't need another committee, but we do need to work together and to see what we can gain from all this benefits that we're going to have. I think mostly the role is based on information gathering and how the UN will be able to use it for us. We need to be able to incorporate programs that can interest them and to encourage them and motivate them into coming into the Council of Women. Because if we look at traditions, we need to incorporate those to our young women, and we are losing it. And so really I think it's teaching our young women the what do they call it? Having a love of what's yours, your culture, and being able to work with it and retain it.
I guess that's part of empowering, especially the young women.
Definitely. We need to show to our young women that handcraft is not a minority, lower class, but it's actually a talent. It's God-given talent. Not everyone can do it. So if we encourage that, I think women will see, the young women will see how blessed they are and talented.
Mrs. Morrissey is part of the 5 women representatives from Polynesia, which makes part of the 15 to the advisory group. Melanesia and Micronesia also has 5 representatives each. And to end our news bulletin, yesterday, Niue's new shipping provider Matson advised they will no longer service one of the destinations previously serviced by Reef Shipping. Olomana, formerly the Southern Reef, will not be calling into Tahiti. The news comes only a few weeks after the company bought out Reef Shipping. Reasons advised by Matson is part of the ongoing efforts to improve schedule integrity and to offer competitive service in the Pacific. With the revised port rotation, Matson are able to provide customers with a more dependable service into the Cook Islands and Niue. The next Olomana voyage will see the ship route from Auckland to Rarotonga, Aitutaki, Niue and back to Auckland. A 21-day turnaround is also expected to result in the latest change. And that's our news bulletin for tonight. We hope that you had a very happy Valentine's Day. Good evening.